It feels like winter this morning. We got some frost on the ground. The kitty's gonna knock my phone off the railing. We got fog. There's a chill in the air. Oh, it is beautiful. It is really, really beautiful. And it's not raining, so seriously can't complain. This is my view this morning from the porch. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to bring you along on another What I Eat in a Day video today, and we're going to have a porch chat even though it is cold. The kitties are running around crazy over here, so they will probably cause interruptions and chaos as we're trying to chat, but that's normal. That is to be expected around here. So on my channel, what you see is what you get. And oftentimes that is chaos. We're going to just ignore the dog barking across the street. Before we get into the chat, I want to introduce you guys to a new sponsor to the channel, and that is Needed. Needed is a supplement brand that is tailored toward women. And as you know, if you are a woman or if you've ever met a woman, women have a lot of different stages in their lives, and it can be really difficult to find supplements and know for sure what's safe and good and helpful to take at these different stages of life. So I absolutely love how Needed offers different supplements for all stages of a woman's life, including, fertility and pregnancy and post-pregnancy and, just covering everything. I also love that Needed works hard to find the optimal doses of different nutrients for, specific issues for women, because there's like the bare minimums like RDAs, but sometimes that's not always the optimal amount of a specific nutrient for a specific stage of life. So they go above and beyond trying to dose at optimal levels rather than just the bare minimum. I am currently taking the cognitive support because I am out of my childbearing years. I don't need the pregnancy ones, but you know what I always need? Cognitive support. I juggle a lot in my life. I have children, I have homeschooling responsibilities, I have a YouTube channel, I have all kinds of things. I always joke that I have like 5 or 7 full-time jobs, and how nice would it be to just focus all my time on just one of them? But as moms, we just have to perform juggling acts. That's what it's like to be a mom. So I appreciate all the support I can get in the cognitive realm. If you want to try out Needed and check out all the different supplements that they have, go to the link in my description. And if you use that link, or if you use my coupon code Indigo Nili, you can get, right now during their Black Friday sale, you can get 25% off subscriptions, your first subscription order, or you can get 20% off a one-time order with that coupon code. Thanks again to Needed for sponsoring the video today. I am very cold out here, but I am committed to getting my morning light. So here we are. We're going to stay here for the porch chat. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is something that, a term that I thought of yesterday, and I was like, oh, that's a good way to describe it. I want to talk about Keto Purgatory. And this is something that I experienced, and I'm just going to be talking about my own experience. Other people, if they don't experience this, that's totally fine. But if you do relate to it, I thought it would be fun to share. So what I am describing as Keto Purgatory is the time that it took me, my body, my brain, all of the above, to adjust out of the keto diet. And we all recognize that there is an adaptation period to get into a keto diet, talking about fat adaptation and different things like that. And that is pretty well accepted. But I also experienced an adaptation period that it took to get out of the keto diet. I think the keto diet is an amazing tool. I think it can be used for various things and be extremely helpful. It definitely was helpful for me in certain ways, but I also now kind of I hold it with a little bit more caution, just because of how much I saw that it affected me, and I didn't know that until I transitioned out of it. So when I was on a keto diet, it put my body into a certain mode, and I've talked about how my blood sugar regulation wasn't as good, and how if I ate any kind of a carbohydrate, my blood sugar would spike, and I just thought that carbs were the problem. I did not realize that the state of my body from being in the keto carnivore diet was just as much contributing to that state as the carbohydrates were. But another thing that happened in my mind and in my body from being on the keto diet was, we could call it food noise, we could call it cravings, we could call it being triggered by food. And I think a lot of us have experienced this when we've been on restrictive diets, where you're restricting, you're being strong and not, partaking in a certain type of food. And then you have one bite of that food and it's like the floodgates open and you can't stop yourself from just, eating everything. And you're like, I'm just going to eat it all and then I'll start again on Monday. And I found myself when I was keto, I would have that kind of reaction to things. And of course I did all of the, the mental work and like, oh, we need to not eat our emotions and all, like all of the intellectual stuff and the emotional side. I worked through all of that, but I found that there was a lot of it that was purely physical. I think our bodies are designed to run on carbohydrates primarily, and that the fat adaptation side of things is a backup system. And so when you're in the backup system, it's great because it keeps you alive in famine, or, when food is scarce, or when, the harvest doesn't come in and, we only have meat and fat. So it's fantastic. It's a great backup system. But I think that our bodies are designed to run on glucose primarily. And I found when I put myself into a perpetual state of keto eating, or carnivore eating, that my body responded by causing cravings for carbohydrates. Or when I would taste some carbohydrates, then my body would say, you need to eat lots of that. You're deficient. You need to eat lots of that. That is what we need. That is what we prefer. That makes us feel safe. And the result of all of that signaling is that kind of uncontrolled feeling around food, no matter how much you work on the addiction side of it, or, the emotional side of it. Don't eat our emotions. There was part of that I just could not escape on the keto or carnivore diet. And I think that was my body's natural desire for carbohydrates. And I found that over time, going through this keto purgatory time where I'm getting all of those signals from my body to eat the carbohydrates, I did end up getting through that to a place where I feel like food noise is the lowest it's ever been. I don't, when there's foods in the house that are not part of my regular eating plan, like for example, Halloween candy, it just doesn't call my name. I'm not overly focused on food or things during social gatherings. Like all these things that I would describe as food noise just are gone when I am eating whole food carbohydrates, fruits, vegetables, starches, things like that. It's just those things don't hold any power anymore. So for me, I found I had to get away from the restriction. I had to get away from the keto diet in order for that noise to completely go away. And it didn't go away overnight. There was an in-between period, a purgatory, if you will, where like for example, I got some dried mango at Costco for the family. The kids love it. And I ate some, and my body responded by saying, you need to eat more of that. And then, every time I was hungry, I was like, oh, I have that mango in there. That was really good. I want to eat more. And there was a part of me that was like, all right, you need to draw a boundary. You need to not buy this mango. You need to keep it out of the house. You need to make sure the kids eat it up and then we don't get any more. And then I was like, no, I'm done with that. I'm not doing that anymore. And so I allowed myself to eat the mango when I wanted to, with the understanding that it wasn't I'm going to eat it all and then never have it again, because whenever I did that in the past, I would eat way more than I should have. But with the understanding that, no, this is just how it's going to be. There will be things like mango in the house, and I can eat them if I want to. And we're not going to restrict. That took away a lot of the desire to just eat the entire bag, first of all. So when I did think, oh, I really would like to have some mango, like after my meal, I would go ahead and I would have some. And I found that it took like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 days before the mango really didn't call my name anymore. And now, like, I can have it in the house and I don't even notice that it's there. I forget it's there. So I made a massive protein yogurt bowl for breakfast this morning. I have 8 ounces of Fage yogurt in here, 2%. And then I put in 1 scoop of the strawberry sundae grass-fed whey to bump up the protein. A serving is 2 scoops. I didn't feel like I needed quite that much because there's so much protein already in the yogurt. So I just did 1 scoop. And then I sliced up 2 bananas to get a good bunch of carbs on there. And then for an extra fun topping, I just crumbled up one of the peanut butter crisps from Marigold. So this is a Marigold breakfast this morning. This is what the package looks like for the peanut butter crisps. They're really good. They have like a puffed quinoa in there. And so it's got kind of like that crispiness factor. And I've not had it crumbled on yogurt before, but I was like, why am I not doing this? Because I think it's going to be a really nice little topping there. So I'm getting set up for a live stream that's coming up in like a little less than an hour. I'm going to sit here and eat my breakfast. I did get interrupted on my porch chat. Although I feel like I said most of what I wanted to say, but to wrap it all up, I will say that I didn't just immediately go from a keto or carnivore diet to eating carbs and got all the magical things that you get from eating carbs. Because you'll hear people, say, oh, I was keto and then I added carbs and the weight came off and the food noise went away and, my cravings, all the things. And while a lot of those things have been true for me, it hasn't been an immediate thing. There was an adjustment period. There was a purgatory I had to go through. For me, it's been like 2 years now, almost, 1.5 to 2 years. And I still feel like things are shifting and changing. And I have no idea how long it would take for anybody else, depending on, their circumstance. But for me, I'm still seeing things change. I will say, for me to really get through most of it, I think took about 6 to 8 months. And maybe I could have, done different things in there to make it go faster or whatever. But for me, I think like a 6 to 8 month amount of time to really feel like my appetite is regulating and, just that normal feeling around food, the quieting of the food noise and all of that. All right, I am going to eat and then I'm going to be doing my live stream. I'm going to try to get blood sugar at 1 hour and 2 hours after my meals. That might be in the middle of my live stream. We'll see. So it'll be what it'll be. We're just going to go ahead and do a blood sugar at 30 minutes after my meal because I am about to do a live stream. It'll probably be 90 minutes or 2 hours when I get my second blood sugar prick after the meal. But after 30 minutes, my blood sugar is at 89. And here we are after 2 hours, and I have been sitting for over an hour, so 93. I need to get up and start moving. It is 1:30 and I am very ready to eat. So I am having some leftover stir fry that is just, it was a tricolor coleslaw mix that I stir fried up with some lean ground beef, and just some soy sauce and such. And then I have some white rice. I topped it with some black sesame seeds and a little bit of Japanese barbecue sauce. I decided to have a second cup of coffee today, so I have my latte with 5 ounces of whole milk steamed, and I have a giant apple as my after lunch sweet treat. There is my blood sugar 1 hour after my meal. And here we are at 2 hours after my meal. I made a big pot of spaghetti sauce and I am cooking up myself some chickpea pasta. This is my favorite bean-based pasta. Best brand. Some are really, really bad. Really bad. This one is fantastic. So I have that cooking here, and then the rest of the family is having Instant Pot pasta there. Are you starving? And this is my dinner. Chickpea pasta, meat sauce and some freshly grated Parmesan cheese. This is the Gardener's brand. I always say it wrong. Gardener's. There's no T. Gardener's brand Parmesan cheese. I just grated it fresh over my pasta. Here is 1 hour after the pasta, 83. And this is a little more than 2 hours, down to 78.